Radio Network.
Why, hello there, everybody, and welcome to episode number 88 of Real Sports Talk with Kenny Kluska. Of course, I'm your host, Kenny Kluska, here for another hopefully excellent show. We got a lot coming up, a lot to do with the Heisman. That's because the Heisman Trophy winner was announced yesterday. And this year's winner was quarterback Lamar Jackson out of Louisville. Now, Lamar Jackson was born on January 7th, 1997. He's 19 years old. That makes him the youngest Heisman Trophy winner in college football history. So congratulations to the sophomore young quarterback. Of course, he has to play at least one more year of college football. He could easily go first overall in the 2018 NFL Draft. Depending if he can keep his momentum from what was a fabulous season this year, of course, which culminated in him winning the Heisman Trophy. His final stats on the year, he went 270 for 382. 220 for 382. That's a 57.6 completion percentage. Threw for 3,390 yards. 30 touchdown passes, 9 interceptions. That wasn't it, though. He had 234 rushing attempts for 1,558 rushing yards and 21 rushing touchdowns. His 1,558 rushing yards was the 8th most in FBS. Of course, he did not end as strong as he did in the beginning of the year. Of course, had an outstanding start to the year. The team was 9-1, looking like they had a chance to be in the college football playoff. But they went on to lose their last two games of the year at Houston and home against Kentucky, ending with a 9-3 record. In those last two games, both losses, Jackson threw 3 touchdowns, but also threw 3 interceptions. So it did not necessarily end on a high note. That made the Heisman Trophy maybe a little bit of a closer race because for much of the year he did look like a runaway winner. Did he deserve it? Possibly. But Deshaun Watson was the runner-up. If you look at his stats, he went 329 for 487, a 67.6 completion percentage, 10% higher than Lamar Jackson. Threw for 3,914 yards, 37 touchdowns, 15 interceptions, added 524 rushing yards and 6 rushing touchdowns. Clemson went 12-1, and they will be in the college football playoff. A couple Oklahoma guys were there, D.D. Westbrook and wide receiver D.D. Westbrook and quarterback Baker Mayfield, and also, linebacker, but he's also played secondary, played running back. He's done a lot. Jabril Peppers out of Michigan was also a finalist. He finished 5th, but, congrats to the youngest Heisman Trophy winner in college football history. And we'll take more of a look at the Heisman Trophy winner, more specifically recent quarterbacks who have won the Heisman Trophy and how they have fared in the pros. It's been some hits, but there's been some major misses as well. We will take a look at that more towards the second half of the show. What's coming up in sports? Well, if you consider professional wrestling a sport, it's sports entertainment. We have WWE's next pay-per-view, Roadblock, End of the Line, 1 week from today. WWE just churns out pay-per-views left and right. Feels like Survivor Series just happened. Instead this will be the second pay-per-view since Survivor Series as there was one TLC last Sunday, a SmackDown exclusive pay-per-view. This is a Raw exclusive pay-per-view. Three matches on the card so far. I'm sure plenty will be added perhaps tomorrow. We got Universal Champion Kevin Owens defending his belt against Roman Reigns. Chris Jericho, currently in a feud with Seth Rollins. They will battle it out. And Sasha Banks, new champion. Of course, that championship has, been handed back and forth between her and Charlotte nonstop over, the past couple months. Sasha is now the champ again. She will face Charlotte for the women's title in a 30-minute Iron Man match. Those are the three matches that have been made official so far. That's a week from today. We are only 27 days away from the NFL playoffs. This NFL season has been going fast and furious. Not much of the season left after this week's games. Each team will have just 3 regular season games remaining. Still a lot of races left to be decided. I believe the Dallas Cowboys are the only team that have clinched a playoff berth. Not sure if the early results from today have allowed another team to clinch, but as of today, the Cowboys were the only team to clinch. We still have a lot of races going on, division races, wild card. Should make for an exciting end of the season. Right now we got a Fox, at least in this area, New Jersey, New York area. The Green Bay Packers against the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks look like they're in the lead for that number 2 seed in the NFC. But right now we're down 7-3 to the Packers, who may have to win out in order to make the playoffs. Lions won today. They're now 9-4. Packers need to win just to stay 2 games behind them. Maybe looking towards a wild card, berth, and may need to win out and finish 10-6 in order for that to happen. Big game tonight. Dallas pretty much does have the number 1 seed sewn up, but they'll be facing the 8-4 New York Giants. Giants currently are the first NFC wildcard team. Didn't look too great against the Steelers. Cowboys will look to avenge their only loss of the season, which came in the very first week. Since then, have reeled off 11 consecutive wins. So that should be an entertaining game. So a lot of exciting football left to be played. NBA, big loss by the Warriors yesterday. Very surprising. Got blown out by the Memphis Grizzlies. They just, I guess you can't expect them to bring it all 82 games of the season. That's their 4th loss. Of course, their record-breaking season last year, they went 73-9. Klay Thompson had that game where he went off 60 points in 3 quarters. They have some games where they're putting up over 140 points in regulation, but, I guess there's going to be games where Steph, Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Kevin Durant, they're just off, and, if that happens, the other team definitely has a chance, and Memphis, took advantage of that. Of course, they're even without Mike Conley, who's injured. So, big win by the Grizzlies. Of course, the Cavs won the finals last year. We've, noticed for a long time that the Western Conference is the better conference. I think slowly it's beginning to even out, though. I would say it's more top-heavy on the West because, other than the Cavs, maybe the Raptors, there aren't many great teams in the East, while in the West, of course, you have the Warriors, the Spurs, Clippers. Houston Rockets are off to a very good start, so a lot of good teams there. Then we have, if you look overall, though, currently there's 10 teams in the East that are at least 500 and just 7 in the West. So, East is starting to, slowly even out what has been a long reign for the West as being the better conference. But season's still young, still a lot of games left to be played. Just a little over a quarter of the way through the NBA season. MLB, Didn't mention that. Forgot to mention 112 days away from the MLB season opener. Still seems like a while, but believe me, that will go quick. That opener will be on a Sunday night on ESPN between the defending World Series champion Chicago Cubs taking on the St. Louis Cardinals. MLB free agency going on. Currently, the 5 largest deals, at least money-wise, this season have gone to Yoenis Cespedes, highest at 4 years, $110 million. Relief pitcher Aroldis Chapman going back to the Yankees, 5 years, $86 million. That was after he was traded to the Cubs, helped them win the World Series. Cubs lose Chapman, but did gain Wade Davis in a trade with the Kansas City Royals for Jorge Soler. Cubs lost another player in Dexter Fowler. Fowler will be in that season opener, not for the Cubs though, as he signed a 5-year, $82.5 million contract with the St. Louis Cardinals. Ian Desmond, after 1 year with the Rangers, had a very good season after a subpar year with the Texas Rangers, signed a 5-year, $70 million contract. Probably will play first base for the Rockies this season. That's what's expected. And Mark Melancon, he signs a 4-year, $62 million contract to join the San Francisco Giants. Of course, the Giants struggled mightily out of the bullpen last year. You knew they were going to go after one of these big time closers. Aroldis Chapman, Melancon. And we still have Kenley Jansen, who is still a free agent. Other guys who could potentially join this list, guys like Edwin Encarnacion, Justin Turner, Mark Trumbo, Jose Bautista. Although, in my opinion, I'm not high on Bautista. He's coming off a down year. He's either 35 or 36 years old. He's not going to hit for a high average. He still does walk, a pretty large amount. Which gives him a decent on-base percentage, but he's not that great in the field anymore. He's slowing down there. In my opinion, I wouldn't give him more than 2 years. I believe there will probably be a team out there that does give him 3, though. Interesting to see what happens with him. And, of course, Encarnacion, his teammate for the last few years. It doesn't look like the Blue Jays will re-sign either of those two, as they've made other moves, signing Kendrys Morales to a deal. It just looks like they're going in another direction from them. Mark Trumbo led MLB in home runs last season. He, is still on the block. We'll see what happens with him. Still a lot of, free agency left to go on. Still a young free agency. Plenty of time for other moves to be made. So, what are we going to do right now? We're going to take a short commercial break. Hear a word from Damage 365 and our sponsor. When I come back, as I mentioned, we'll have more on the Heisman Trophy. Once again, congratulations, Lamar Jackson, youngest Heisman winner ever. We're going to take a look at some of the more recent quarterbacks who have won the Heisman, how they have fared in the pros.
The following announcement has been paid for by the New World Order.
This is the hardcore icon, Just Incredible, and you're listening to Damage 365 Radio. Now that's not just the coolest, that's not just the best. Damage 365 Radio, now that's just incredible.
Wrestling Superstore, selling wrestling memorabilia from all around the world, including